Hi guys and welcome back to my channel. On today's video I'm going to answer all of your questions. You left over 100. I'm going to try and answer almost all of them. So you probably noticed this is a long ass video. So what I've done for you down below is I've split everything up into sections and I've time-stamped each section so you can have a route for the question you left me and for any other topics that float your boat. So yes, this is the longest Q&A I've ever done, and again, thank you so much to all of you who have subscribed recently. It's been unreal. And all of you who stuck around for so long, it's ridiculous. But let's just start off with the basics. Hello, my name is Emma. Welcome to my channel, formerly Sarcastic Fish. I am 19 years old, turning 20 in April? How many days is that? I make more lifestyle content, vlogs, and also like I like to call them think pieces, more sort of discussing more hard-hitting issues, you know, that affect young people and women and all of that. All of that-ish. I have bajillion-and-one playlists linked down for you below in case you want to check all of that stuff out. I'm rambling now. It's for coffee. Let's do this. How is your day going? Bit stressed, been applying to internships. How does it feel to be famous? Thanks, Georgia. You should all go subscribe to Georgia's channel. She's one of my best friends. What is something about Belgium you really like and that you miss in England? The food. And the language, actually. What is my opinion on Snapchat? I don't give a crap about Snapchat. It takes me like literally 3 months to reply to anyone on there. Have I ever considered starting a blog? I had a blog. There's the reason I don't vlog anymore. It's called Fails of a Fashionista if you want to go cringe at my past self. Have I overcome my dyslexia? I haven't. I don't really think there's such a thing. Just find things where like you can flourish, because your brain is different than everyone else's, so there are some things that you can do that they can't. So it's about finding those things. Often it's very visual, very creative, and that will honestly like warm your heart when you realise, wait, I can do this so much better than everyone else can, and kind of those feelings that you get in school sort of disappear, which is it's a wonderful feeling. If I am from one country and I go to another and get cloned, which country is my clone from? Adam, I've got brackets. You little shit written here. Why do you ask me questions like this, Adam? I don't know. I don't know. He's my little brother, like why do you, I don't know. Advice you would give a 12-year-old. Don't grow up too fast. If you could tell your 15-year-old self one piece of advice, what would it be? Chill, you're so stressed for a 15-year-old. When you were little, what was your favourite imaginary game? I can't really remember what I did very much, which is kind of weird, but I know that because my little brother's like 4 years younger than me, something I always played with him, and it was honestly one of my favourite things to play, is like, he would be like the little egg, and I would have to go like find the little egg and like make the little egg hatch, and then it would be like a little baby animal that I would play with, and that was my little brother, and that's, I don't know, it's just one of my like fondest memories is playing that with him. Favourite bar in London? One of my friends, Ellie, asks, Ellie, when do we go to bars? We go to cocktail bars, but we go clubbing. I don't know. Oh, there's loads of good Vogue and like Tatler articles on it though. Oh, I like this one. If I won $1 million or pounds, let's go pounds, and you could only spend it in one day, what would I spend it on? I'd buy a flat in London, because otherwise I'm gonna have to rent for my entire life, which, you know, great to be a millennial. I'm walking around like the rent the place. What country would you like to visit? Like anywhere in South America, probably Peru, really, because, oh my god, if I'm getting this wrong, Incas, is that right? Please let that be right. My boyfriend does Hispanic studies, it's gonna be mortifying if I get that wrong. Georgia asks, how does it feel to only have 43 days of teenagerhood left? Gee, please, existential crisis is happening. Well, actually I'm ecstatic, because I've not really liked being 19. I keep telling people like I'm almost 20 instead of going like I'm 19, but I've been saying that since like the day I turned 19. I just want to be in my 20s already. Like look, all my friends are. I'm like, let's hurry up already. Woo! Have I watched Black Panther? I fucking have. It's fucking amazing. Go watch it. It's so good. Believe the hype. Believe the hype. Enjoy the hype. It's so good. Favorite book? Iliad. Probably, which isn't strictly speaking a book, but you know, it's in book form. Does that count? What am I currently binging on Netflix? The last weekend Chris and I spent together, we like ended up binge watching the rest of Black Mirror. We'd binge watched half of it before, because it's one of those things that we agreed we're gonna watch together. So we've got like one episode left, so we binge watched all of that, and then this that weekend we also like watched the entire Lord of the Rings trilogy, but like all of the extended editions. So we went to town on doing fuck all for like 4 days. It was fantastic. What is the picture I'm most proud of? I don't know. It's probably one of my film camera ones. This picture I took in Russia I absolutely love. I don't really know. I'll have a look and I'll insert them here for you. Actually, if you want to see some of my fave ones, I have an extra like Instagram account called London Fish, so that would love your attention too. Any recent book and movie recommendations? Yeah, defo Black Panther, and yeah, defo the Iliad. There you go, two ends of a spectrum. How did I get into filming? Just the film function on the first camera I had, I guess. I just never, like, as much as I like taking photos, I don't take them on any of my DSLRs. Like, I take film photos because it needs to be a completely different experience from filming. It's just what I enjoy. Like, there's no, I don't know why. Favorite books that have had the biggest impact on you. So in year 8, for school we had to read this book called Stone Cold, and it was about this boy who ends up homeless. The thing with it is, it's a horrific sort of novel. I'm so happy they made us read it, but like, the thing that always got me was at the end of the book, like, he's still homeless. This boy is still homeless, and it just like got to me. Because like I do recognise that I do live a very privileged life, so reading that kind of like, it grounds you and it does make you, it's a very good book to read. It's not, I don't think it's particularly well written, it's left a massive impact on me. It's been almost 10 years and I just can't get over it. That and Matilda as well. Matilda was a very important book to me as a child. Where do I see myself hopefully in 10 years? I did the 30 before 30 list, so that can give you an impression of like where I hope to be. But I guess the thing I always keep saying is, and I did a video called Dear 30-Year-Old Me because I'd be 30 by then, almost. I don't know, like, happy is the one I always say. Financially stable would be fun. I'd like to have traveled. I just want to be, I don't know, just be a better person than I am now, and hopefully to have left like a creative mark on the world more than I already have. What do you want to do when you leave university? I want to make films. What job would you like to do after university? Director. So for those of you who don't know, I want to make films, I want to direct. That's just, you know, that's just what I do. I have a film channel that I'm going to link for you down below. I have a film that I'm like working on, sort of trying to get finished this reading week, and then a couple in the works, and one that's going up next month as well, so stay tuned for stuff happening on there. Also, in terms of staying tuned, you can like click the bell thingy in case I get lost in your subscription, like somewhere, especially maybe for my film channel, because I post videos on there like every 3 months, so I can easily get lost in your subscriptions. Would you rather be able to see 10 minutes into your own future or 10 minutes into the future of anyone but yourself? Definitely I would not want to look into my future. I feel like I'd jinx it. Do you not think? Like, I feel like if I saw it, I would somehow, it would influence me to the point where I would end up not at that point. So that kind of, the idea of that kind of freaks me out. So definitely someone else's. How would you deal with being really YouTube famous, i.e. like 1 million+ subs? I don't know. Probably aim to just not sell my soul or not do things just for views or just for money. I would hope that I would try and deal with it in a way that like I would still be, you know, true to myself and not sell out and like not do stuff for the sake of the numbers, not letting it get to your head, you know? If you think about 8,000 people, that's insane. And like, it's, the YouTube numbers can get so ridiculous. I think it is about the people around you, you know? What inspires you to get in front of a camera and talk to strangers? This is my mirror. I used to just talk to that mirror the entire time. So, you know, when I was younger. So you may as well, you know, make a career out of it. I just feel comfortable with it. Like, it doesn't bother me to talk to myself. I do it often, and I also know, like, it's talking to a camera, and the thing is also, like, you're not all strangers. Like, my parents watch my videos, my friends watch my videos, my family watches my videos, and then they, you know, they'll message me being like, oh, I like that you said this, I thought this was interesting, I liked how you did this. Because the conversation about it is sometimes kept quite local to, like, my friends and family, and then like I do get familiar with you guys in terms of like, if you leave a comment and then maybe follow my Instagram and you have the same name, I can notice that, and like if you comment often, I do notice you. But it's also why I notice when people stop commenting, I'm like, oh my god, did they unsubscribe? So like, being small, I do kind of get to know you guys a little bit as well. This is one I really liked. Do you view using the internet as a way to share your ideas and life a more positive or negative thing? I mean, I clearly do view it as a positive thing because of the fact that, you know, if I thought it was negative, I wouldn't do it. I just think you have to make sure that you have balance. I think I think we all sort of seem to have an oversharing problem. As long as you're not sharing so much that you know, put yourself into actual danger, then I think it is okay. Or like, as long as you're not like sharing opinions that actually just make you a massive wanker. So, you know, as long as you like kind of, you know, try not to do those two things, I think it can be really positive. How did you balance YouTube and boarding school? I didn't at all. I barely made videos while I was boarding. I'd make videos when I was home. I think I made like a handful, barely, when actually at school, because you don't have any privacy. There's no locks on doors. There's no like, you know, you have to share rooms. Like, you just don't have that time to yourself. Like, when I'm filming, what I've got now is I know that there's obviously nobody in this room. My parents know I'm filming, so they're not going to come and disturb me. So you just don't have that at school at all. So yeah, there's actually a video I filmed with my friend Camilla. Like, we filmed a roommate tag, and then we never posted it, but we filmed a reaction to it. So if you watch that reaction, there's a bit where like some of my friends like come and barge into the room just to annoy us. It's that kind of like, you can't get away from other people. So I didn't. My fave YouTubers, I made a whole video on this. I'll link that down for you below as well. Really hasn't changed. Also, I noticed like everyone I watch is like 30 something with kids or pregnant or has dogs. I don't watch anyone my age. Like, I just don't. I don't know what's wrong with me. What are the most important things I've taken away from my YouTube career? Like, self-awareness. I want to make a video on self-awareness. It's kind of like, I have to be so thoughtful and careful. I don't say careful like I'm like there's things that I'm like deliberately not saying. You do have to be aware of the fact that you have this like influence, you have a responsibility. I have to always make sure that when I say something, I do have to like mean it. I want to make sure that I never lie to you guys. All the information I give you is always, you know, as like best, like true as best to my knowledge. Also, I guess how people value honesty. Like, you really do get a sense of that, especially because with the internet, like, you never really know. But I feel like you all do gather that I am quite an honest person with you. So, like, if I'm talking about something, I'm not gonna lie. I would just not talk about it. Also, sort of debate in a way. I have to spot flaws in my argument and address those before someone can like butcher me in the comments. So that I've definitely learned. Also, oratory skills in terms of how I talk, my wording and projection, and also just kind of presenting sort of skills that I've certainly learned. What is my type when it comes to dating? I don't know why this question is here, but my, you know, taller than me, but not too much, cheekbones, nice eyebrows, really nice eyes, just my boyfriend, basically. Like, I still think he's like the most attractive person I've ever seen. I've like been dating him for 3 years, but he's so good looking and I can't get over it. So yeah, my type is my boyfriend. Okay, I'm sorry if this is cringe for any of you, but yeah. Moving on! In 10 words, describe the collapse of YouTube and its deteriorating relationship with its content creators. Again, thank you, Georgia. I'm gonna do this. You only care about us if we generate ad revenue. There we go, that's 10. What do I study at university? I studied comparative literature. I did study comp lit with film, but I hated all of my film modules, and I did really shit in them too. So I was like, right, comp lit it is. A lot of you have also asked me where I study. Unfortunately, I can't tell you that at the moment. I do study in one of the London ones, but I'm just not specifying for like, you know, health and safety reasons and security reasons. Obviously, I will talk about it once I've left, but not right now. So can you wait a year and like 3 months? 3 months? You'll know in due course. I keep waving this at you, but I haven't actually drank from it, so. Why and how did I decide on the uni I am now at? It was just the course I wanted. In their prospectus, they're like, 2,500 years, 7 continents, 12 languages. That's like everything we were gonna study, and that, like, you know, that floated my boat so much more than English literature. I always knew it was gonna be literature. Like, I knew I couldn't do French, like, because I just wasn't like good enough for properly studying it, and that's just like, you know, what my skill set is geared towards. I did think about film school, but I figured I could always do a degree and then do film school if I still wanted to, just because then if that did all go to pot, I still had a degree. And also I do very much value higher education, so, and I think it's been a fantastic choice. I only applied to 2 places for comp lit, the rest I had to apply for as French, but oh God, I'm just so lucky that I found the course that I just really like love. What were my 5 UCAS choices? So obviously my first one is the one I'm at now, so I can't tell you. Then also UCL, Exeter, Warwick, and Queen Mary's. Yeah, those are my choices. Fun fact, I actually got accepted to all of them, which at the time I was like, oh, but that's normal. But everyone was like, Emma, that's not fucking normal. Nobody gets accepted to all of them. But I did, so I rubbed that in my brother's face. We're really competitive, sorry. Yeah, we actually applied to like 2 of the same unis, and I was gonna apply to the one he was at, but then he got in there, so I was like, right, fine, I won't. Because I love him, but I don't need to be in the vicinity of him all the time. Was there any point in university so far as you felt you made a serious choice in what you're studying? Yeah, when I was like, had the film modules, I thought my film modules would be like my fun bit on the side that I really enjoyed, but I fucking hated it. Like, I thought it was atrocious. I resented being in those lectures because I could be in a comp lit lecture. Like, I had that like epiphany and I was like, what's going on? So I dropped that from my degree. But just with the comp lit stuff, no, not for a moment, because it's so perfectly geared towards me. So if I can give you some advice, really, really do what you enjoy. Because if you do it, you put your heart and soul into it. So, you know, you just do better, you enjoy it more, like, you can't go wrong. Which, you know, to an extent, does mean maybe going against your parents or, like, advice you've had from people. But not what they want for you, because, you know, sometimes you have to know what you want for you. Well, always you should know what you want for you, you know? Why comp lit? I essentially could not bear to study English. The idea is that, like, I'd be looking myself out from studying so much that I couldn't handle it. And it's been such a good decision, like, because we do study things in translation, but the fact is, like, you read stuff in translation, you know, and it's so interesting. We do stuff to do with empire and like colonization and how that affects literature, and because you learn so much more because they know they're teaching you literature from like parts of the world that you probably have never read anything from, know anything from. So it's kind of, it is a bit of history, geography as well, and like a bit more like anthropologic, but it's like, it's less like straight English. It's more like you do develop slightly different skill sets than just doing English. Like, I took one of their modules and I didn't enjoy myself anywhere near as much as I do in my comp lit ones. Luckily, like, it was an 18th century one, so like that's my jam, so I was fine with it. But I really like enjoy my course a lot more, and then my professors were all like so sound, like, we're such sound people, and like, I really like the people on my course. I just really I can't speak highly of it enough. Like, once I graduate, I'm gonna do like a whole video like talking about it, because I just found it fantastic. And the material especially that I've been exposed to, like, I wanted to be forced to read stuff that I wouldn't find myself. I'm currently reading something for a module, Ideas of Nation, called Ways of Dying, and it's about like the violence in like just like in South Africa, like at the end of the apartheid, and it's harrowing. It makes you like more aware and more like kind of worldly is the word I want to use, but I don't know if it's the word I want to use. Makes you a better person. And also, everyone has studied English literature. Like, I think it's an employable thing. I think because everyone does English, that's kind of my thing as well. Makes me look a little bit more special. Advice you'd give to freshmen going into uni based on your experiences. The mates you make in the first couple of months of uni will not be your mates by the end. You kind of, in desperation almost, you just try and make friends with anyone, but the fact is you can't be friends with everyone. Like, you need to like find your people. So it took me a while. Like, Ellie was my only friend for like most of first years. Definitely don't sweat too much about making friends, because you will find the people that you're like meant to be friends with. If there's anything else I would study, what would it be? Probably philosophy. I love reading it, so I'd love to like study it. This is one of my favourite ones. On a scale from 1 to pot noodle, how stressed are you? Super noodle, that's how stressed I am. Mainly like about not finishing all of the reading I want to do for lectures, or missing them because I'm ill, not because I'm being lazy, but because I'm ill or because something's happened that I find really stressful. GCSEs, what did I get? Mainly A's, a couple B's, and about 3 A stars. What did I study for my GCSEs? This is what I studied. Advice for GCSEs, they're really not as important as you think they are. I think it's just emotionally incredibly like difficult and like stressful because you've never had this much responsibility yet. Advice for dyslexic students, you have to work harder than everyone else. It really, really sucks and it's incredibly unfair. But the worst thing you could do is compare how hard you're working to someone else. Because if you're working as hard as your peers, you're not working hard enough, and I'm really sorry and it sucks to say that, but with my experience, like you just need to work harder than everyone else. The one thing my mum once said is there's no substitute for hard work, so you have to stick with it, you know, use lots of colours, you like draw things out for yourself, mind map shit, because you're so visual, so you have to like use that to your advantage. It is hard, like I don't think we ever give ourselves enough credit for how hard our GCSEs were emotionally, you know, like I'm still a bit scarred from it, to be quite honest. A-level, what did I get? So, I got A, what did I get? Shit, I got AAB, which is always difficult because I didn't do like actual A-levels, I did like pre-U and the marks are different. So I got AAB. I took English Lit, French and Biology for reference. What was the hardest part about A-levels? I think the collective stress we all felt, because think about it, if I'm boarding, like we're all in the same boat, which while can be like a bit like comforting, like, you know, everyone's feeling the same thing, but you know, you live with these people. You can feel everyone's stress. I think the worst thing was when our year above in-house, you know, they were doing it because we were like all free and happy. We didn't have any like of these problems yet. So just kind of feeling their stress, that I think was also hard. It's like a feeling of collective stress and impending doom. How did I find my A-levels? Hard. Okay, now, you probably all skipped ahead to this, so let's get into this. Where did I go to boarding school? Guys, I'm again really sorry, I can't actually tell you this. I know I'm not there anymore, but my younger brother is, so like, for the sake of his privacy, I just can't tell you at the moment, so I do apologise. Why did I go? Because I wanted to, and I was in a very privileged position to be able to go, so I was not going to let that opportunity pass me by. In hindsight, describe your experience at boarding school. Amazing. Like, I loved every second of it, but also just in terms of an education as a school, while they didn't really prepare us very well for our exams and our A-levels, our year did atrociously, it's prepared me so well for university life. So some things that come like second nature to me at uni, I can tell don't for other people because they just haven't learnt it from what I did at school. So I would 100%, like, the education I got, I can't fault it, apart from the fact that it was shit for our exams. But as a person, like the personal education, I guess, it was really, really good. I'm just really grateful that I got to have that education and that experience, you know? What do you do if you're ill at boarding school? You tell your matron and then you go back to bed. Would I send my kids to boarding school? Like, we've talked about this, like what would we do? And I think we would, but just not our school, if that makes sense. Because I just don't like how, like, the things they're planning on doing in the future, I'm just not like a fan of it. So, not to our school, but maybe to, you know, a different one? You know, if I could, of course. If I could afford to send my kids to boarding school, I would, but maybe not from like a really young age, because there is such thing as like definitely too young. Has boarding school helped you grow up faster, do you think? Yeah and no. Like, yes, in the fact that you had to be a lot more responsible all of a sudden. Your teachers and mates from there, not like your parents. Like, your parents can like nag you about stuff and tell you off and all that kind of stuff, but at school they wouldn't. Like, if I was late for shit, like, that was my fault. Like, you get in trouble, but it wasn't the same as with your parents. Like, you can't fight back. Like, you just have to be a lot more accepting that this is up to you, not up to them. Like, they're not your parents. But in another way, you're kind of sheltered from certain things. So some experiences that might make you grow up quickly, like in the normal education, you don't necessarily have them when you're boarding. Like, boarding is like a bubble. You're still protected in that bubble, really. How old were you when you started boarding? 16. Would you rather have your own room or share a room? Nah. Sharing a room is so down to who the fuck you share with. The first person I shared a room with, Miller, like, we're still friends to this day, but the second girl I shared a room with, I don't want to ever come within a 10-mile radius of her because I just cannot stand her. So, like, it's so hit and miss, but generally I prefer having my own space. 5 things you wish you knew before going to boarding school. 1. Boys are gross. They are disgusting. You know, you live with them, like, they're disgusting. 2, like, you're living with people, like, think about that, like, it's not just school, you live with these people. 3, you'll get fat. You just will. 4, Bring a lot of home clothes. Don't underestimate this. And 5, savor it, because it gone. Savor it. Who would do your laundry in boarding school? Not us. I don't know about other places, but we didn't have to do it. Like they sent it out. I love how that's a question actually. You want to know about the laundry. What is boarding school like? Is it how novels or stereotypes depict it? Of course not. It's so overly romanticized. I don't think, like, you know, if I watch films about it, and I have done, it's written by people who've never been to a boarding school. Well, you can tell, especially all the whole all-girls ones. Like, you know how toxic an all-girl, like, environment is? It's really bad. Also because, like, my 6th one was mixed for boarding, so there's boys exist, and they are disgusting human beings. Because I went to an all-girls school before, and I was like, so, oh my god, boys, oh my god. But you get over it so quickly, like, you're like, why did I not savor my all-female environment more? Like, fine lessons is so gross, oh my god. Before boarding, did you go to a state school, private school, or grammar school? I went to all of them. I have seen such a cross-section of society, like, you have no idea. So I went to a private primary school, then I went to a state secondary school, but it was an all-girls school and it was selective. So that's a really weird thing to have. So technically I think it counts as a grammar school under those specifications, but they call themselves like a high school, even though then it became an academy. So I don't know what that school actually is, if that makes sense. And then yeah, then I boarded, so all of it, essentially. What are birthdays like in boarding school? I'm born in April, so I was always at home, but for other people, I don't know if it's just in our houses, I think it's just in our house. Also, it differs so much between houses, and like the house you get and how well you get on with your house, it can also be really hit and miss. But we had, when it was someone's birthday, because you know, I think it was when we turned 18, I can't remember, our housemaster just had like bottles of Prosecco or champagne, and you know, whoever got it, got 6 glasses in the bottle, and then had to like distribute the champagne accordingly. So it's a bit like at dinner, it was a bit like, who are your close friends? It was a bit like, you know, in-house politics of like, who's getting a glass of champagne or not? Dun dun dun. But yeah, I never got the champagne because I was at home. I got my own champagne, it's fine. How did you decide to move for 6th form? I was fucking miserable. At the school I was at, I was just fucking miserable. Are there hot sex orgies in boarding school? This question is gonna get me demonetized. So yes, this is my long ass Q&A. I hope you now know things. Like, subscribe and all that jazz. I hope I've answered those to your satisfaction. If you have follow-up questions, you can leave them below. Also, I'm so sorry if I haven't because I'm getting so many at the moment, like I can't respond to all of them, which sucks because that's something I've always loved doing. So I'll try and like it just to show you that, you know, I have seen it, like I have read it. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Like, subscribe and all the jazz, and I will see you guys very, very soon. Sex orgies, seriously? No sex orgies I'm aware of, but there was like a threesome, but I wasn't involved in it, but there was a threesome. Can't believe I just told you that.